Do you know what the best part of the rarest World War II Zombies achievements video is? Having justification for using the scarier Subnautica music. The prologue has only one achievement, Pressure Cooker with a 0.12% completion percentage. Pro tip, make sure you search Pressure Cooker in incognito mode if you don't want the FBI to show up at your house. You have to survive 20 rounds in this lovely farmhouse. While Groston House it doesn't have any achievements itself, it has some insane challenges that I wouldn't mind making videos on if that's something you'd like to see. As always, if you end up liking this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. It's the best way for me to know more of what you want to see more of. This map's got about as much meat on it as the frozen buffalo wings from Costco. The only wall gun available is the MP40. There's one Geistchild machine. For those of you who skipped this version of Zombies, that's your armor. There's no physical Juggernog perk in World War II, so you know the most obnoxious part of the community already hates the game. Aside from that, there's a machine called Laban Blitz. That's this game's version of Quick Revive. But no Wonder Fizz, no other perks, not even a mystery box. Or is there? You're probably wondering, why the hell is this guy shooting lanterns? The answer is that my favorite superhero is Green Lantern. But more importantly, there are 10 lanterns around the map, and when you shoot all 10 of them, the doors to the secret room open up, and this reveals the mystery box. Unlike previous versions though, it costs 1,000 points instead of 950. My strategy was to start on the ground floor while the first few zombies spawn, cut through the kitchen for some midnight honey nut Cheerios, head up the stairs, cross the upper floor, then head downstairs to start the loop again. At the end of rounds, I hit the mystery box over and over, trying to figure out what a good gun is in this game. Eventually, I got the Jack in the Box, this game's version of monkey bombs. While this map is tighter than my puns, I've always found the regular zombies pretty forgiving in this game. When you shoot them, it stuns them for a second, giving you time to wiggle out of a bad situation. After spamming the mystery box, I finally got some good luck at the end of round 12 with an MG15. Normally, I'd be terrified of using an LMG without Speed Cola, but I rationalized that I'd be using my Free Fire special ability, and the longer reload would be worth it. Things went smoothly for a while. I used the MP40, going for headshots, occasionally whipping out the big gun in order to clear a hefty amount of zombies. But in round 16, I got caught by the fireplace like Santa, triggering the ADT alarm. Don't ask me why there's an ADT sensor in the fireplace, okay? If I'm gonna pay a monthly fee, I really want to be protected. I picked myself up and kept on going until I tripped down the stairs on round 17. I got my shit together, the rest of the round and all of round 18 passed without any issues. On 19, I figured I didn't need to be frugal, so I used my Jack in the Boxes and cut loose with Free Fire. The start of round 20, I unlocked the achievement, and since the rest of the World War II story is filled with misery and torture porn, I decided to let Marie ride off into the sunset and escape. Still not the worst stay at an Airbnb though. On to the final Reich, a banger of a launch map. So what's the rarest achievement? Doing the hardcore Easter egg? Believe it or not, no! It's Red Mist with a 0.36% completion. You need to kill 10 zombies with one bomber zombie explosion. Sounds easier than getting milk, right? Much like when you've become lactose intolerant, it's not quite that simple. I spawned in and smacked some zombies with my shovel. World War II instituted a great way to give yourself buffs. You can pick 3 power-ups that help you throughout the match. I've got a little beauty called Mugger active, which gives you 20 extra points per melee kill, provided you only beat zombies to death with melee. After enough blunt force trauma, I got enough gas and let it out by activating the pilot light trap and smacking some pests. I flipped a generator and bought the bunker door, waiting for the doors open, feeling my stubble getting grayer by the second. It's still not as bad as waiting for Peck's bullshit to end in Firebase Z though. Now that I was in the evil Nazi base, it was simply a matter of getting the goods. I needed 3,000 jolts to open 2 doors in order to activate power. After admittedly failing this achievement a couple of times before, I realized I had to adapt and bought the Type 100. After 2 rounds of farming, I turned on the power and killed some more pests. I love that you get a max ammo, Taschen Vol, immediately upon killing the last pest, instead of having to pick it up. I opened the salt mine doors for 1,250 points. This is the secret to getting this achievement done early, maybe even at all. 4 bombers spawned and decided to rogue one my ass, but I had other plans. I carefully shot the little heads on their backs, making the bombs drop before rounding up as many zombies as possible on round 6. After shooting the zombies a few times to soften them up, I activated my special ability Shell Shocked. I chose an upgrade that created a field that stuns zombies in it to keep them near the bombs, as well as one that makes zombies take triple damage during Shell Shock. Mission accomplished. Not. The bombs are actually extremely pathetic and don't have great range or killing power, and and it seems that zombies only take triple damage from my direct attacks. However, blowing one bomb up thankfully doesn't blow up its friends, making me think they're not actually as close as they thought. But after shooting some zombies, I grouped up at least 10 and blasted another bomb, blowing off Marie's big toes and unlocking the achievement with a bang. On to the darkest shore in the Baker's Dozen Massacre. It has a 0.02% completion, and you have to kill 13 zombies with one shot of the ripsaw. It started on the beach, fending off zombies coming out of the water. A pretty cool set piece that even includes a mounted MG42. Sadly can't take it with me because of reasons. My loadout's different this time. I've got free fire, a mod that spawns me in with all 3 shields of armor, an upgrade that slows enemies as I shoot them using free fire, and most importantly an upgrade that makes power-ups spawn more frequently. The last one is not mandatory for completing the achievement, but it was mandatory for keeping my sanity. After getting an adequate sunburn at the beach, I made my way up the island. The game decided to give me the proverbial finger as I stumbled around through the fog. You'd think Zombies maps would have learned their lesson about fog after the first time. I eventually found the saw and turned on the power in the U-boat pens. After dicking around for a bit gathering more points, I opened the artillery bunker and found the saw handle. Mercifully, the rip saw only requires 2 pieces to craft. My relief faded when I assembled the weapon in the U-boat pens and realized my hard work was rewarded by having to pay 2,500 points to pick up this glorified pumpkin carving tool. Trust me, some pumpkins need a little extra oomph. To sate the greed of World War II zombies, I grabbed the grease gun off the wall and killed enough people to buy the ripsaw. Come on, they're World War II era Germans. Pop culture says they're not even people anyway. The next step was upgrading the ripsaw so it could shoot. It's straightforward. Do a heavy melee attack, brutally ripping out the spines from regular zombies until you get one with a charged Geistkraft device. The animation is awesome, but man, I wish it could take even longer than it already did because it's not like I have achievements to unlock and when I have a full-time job. Now I had to kill like 20 zombies near the ripsaw table. Watching the footage, you can actually hear a sound effect when a battery is fully charged in the game, but my volume's so low when I'm playing that I can hear my neighbor's joints creaking across the street. Maybe those are my joints actually. But with the ripsaw now able to shoot blades, it's time to get this achievement. Oh, fuck. That's right. The ripsaw is, in the words of the French, a piece of shit. Honestly, it's probably the single worst wonder weapon of all time. Worse than the jet gun in the Black Ops Winter's Howl. Helping even less is the Muclers, the Darkest Shore's special enemies. They're faster than you, bullet sponges, and tear through your health. Not to mention they'll retreat to ambush you later after taking damage. I regretted not equipping my one Totengriff, aka Instakill consumable. Realizing that I was gonna have to wait for an instakill and that the ripsaw wasn't gonna get me through rounds, I turned on the artillery bunker power and rode the Donkey Kong 64 mine carts 3 times to get all the cores needed to activate Pack-a-Punch and upgrade my 9mm SAP. There's a way you can upgrade the ripsaw further, but the process is extremely tedious and I needed an insta-kill to get this done, so why even bother? I spent many rounds running around the U-boat pens like a teenager whose girlfriend's parents got home earlier than expected and had to sneak out. It was extremely hectic in this area, but honestly, it was a lot of fun training. I really wish the ripsaw was better because the wonder weapon only killing like 3 zombies at a time is flat out unacceptable. I did go down once or twice and had to rebuy my perks, and I eventually bought and upgraded the M1928 because my 9mm SAP was running out of ammo. That's the one good thing about the ripsaw. It doesn't take up a weapon slot, it takes your melee slot. I actually had 1 or 2 insta-kills while doing this, but I either killed too few zombies to pop the achievement, or I just didn't have them in the right position in order to get the job done. But unlike the 2024 Chicago Cubs bullpen, I don't give up. Finally, on round 24, the stars aligned and I got an insta-kill. Managed to wrangle up enough zombies and line them up in front of these U-boat propellers before playing ultimate frisbee a little too vigorously. After a couple of seconds, the achievement showed up and I made my escape. That escape, of course, was quitting the game. Next up, we have the Shadowed Throne. There are 2 achievements that have a 0.01% completion, but I only did one of them because it took an entire day off work to get it done. Based on the previous achievements, you might think it's something innocuous like kill 15 zombies while singing Take My Breath Away, but not this time. Ammo conservation requires you to get the Blade of Barbarossa without firing a gunshot. That's most of the Easter egg for those keeping score at home. Since it was all melee all the time, I equipped Mugger again and beat these sewer dwellers with a shovel. In most videos of the Shadowed Throne I've seen, the player usually doesn't play as one of the 4 main characters, and I never understood why.
Let's get to street level and get our bearings. We need to get up to the streets. I know that. We need to find that frequency. Need to find that frequency.
Oh, that's why. After the first round, I went up to the apartments and grabbed the dancer's painting because we don't really have decorations in our house and it's time to spruce things up a bit. I went out to Main Street on round 3 and took note of what letters and numbers were on my radio. I've always been a history kind of guy, so I took a trip to the museum and grabbed an ice pick, taking note of this radio frequency on this marble thing for later. Thankfully, this ice pick is strong enough to kill zombies in one swing early on, because only using my shovel would have resulted in me digging my own grave. After getting enough points, I opened up the church because I did record this gameplay on a holy day of obligation and found the radio frequency that would let me talk to the Soviets because I haven't hung out with anyone my own age except my wife in 8 years. Back to the radio, I went to play a glorified Mario Party minigame by setting the radio to the right frequency. This is why I used camouflage instead of the usual free fire and is my least favorite part of this map. Finally, I set the radio to the right frequency and talked to Mikhail, who wanted to lure the boss Zeppelin to my location. Before I did that, I set the radio to the frequency I found in the museum because I'll need that for a special weapon later, the Nazi axe. Yes, it's called the Nazi axe. Into the club I went, though I didn't find 50 Cent, and I set up the projector and film reel using the painting I found before, regrettably firing off a flare in order to get Straub to come ruin my fun. Why does it ruin my fun? When Straub is called over, he creates these supercharged jackasses named Gekkots, aka Sizzlers, who outrun you. It's a necessary evil though, because I had to get a Geistcraft bolt out of his neck. I grabbed a magnifying glass from the club and a battery from the museum, which allowed me to craft the Wonder Bus. Here's where the achievement description is a little deceptive. It's literal when it says gunshot, because you need to use the Wonder Boss to get out of this room and to open this cash register with a picture and another radio frequency. Back to the church to look at a map. Now, I had no interest in using the Morse code from that one radio frequency to do this the right way, so I looked up all the possible coordinates that the magnifying glass had to be on, and eventually the cabinet opened so I could grab the greatest reward of all, a bowl. This bowl goes on a scale in the museum. When you kill a Sizzler near the armor machine, its head gets stuck in it, and you can buy armor like normal to get the head. I then set the radio to the smuggler's frequency to increase my friend group and was reminded why I don't socialize. I shot the projector in the cabaret in order to start some soul chests for another special weapon, the dancer's dagger. But first I gave the smuggler my starting pistol. A smuggler only takes certain guns each game, but there's a pile of bullets on the desk near the Wonder Bus that'll tell you what kind he'll accept. Since the bullets were small in my game, he would accept the pistol, but this isn't the last I'd hear from him. I did the first of 4 soul chests, which I found on the projector in the cabaret, for the dancer's dagger before heading to the museum because I needed to justify buying a yearly pass. I placed the Sizzler head on the scale, which turned this rabbit into a soul chest. After ruining the museum carpet, the drawer opened and I picked up the Nazi axe, which I somehow placed on the wall by the store at the church while also keeping it in my hand. Just smile and wave, boys. I then filled the second soul chest in the cabaret for the dagger before making my way out to Main Street to work on the third one. After confirming the location of the fourth and final one, I went to the museum to fill it up. With that done, I made my way back to the apartments and to this safe in the wall. The combination is determined by the number of zombies you killed at each soul chest in that order, but it doesn't automatically input it. Nor do the enemies ignore you like in Mauer der Toten. That's right, just like the radio, you have to enter this code in a safe while zombies are groping you like a professional Smash Bros player. The good news is that if you forget a number, you can go through the soul chests again and correct your error, which I had to do while also giving the smuggler some money to get through the door. The combo needs to be entered like a real save. Clockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise. In my case, 4, 8, 7, 9. If you enter it correctly, you can back out and interact with the safe again to get some head and the dancer's dagger, which I put in the wall by the church. I went to the smuggler's house by the Wonder Bus because he said to come over and we'll play Super Smash Bros. I knocked on the door 3 times only to find a damn woosling. Turns out that he played one of those pay-to-win characters, and the smuggler was a King K. Rool main, the poor bastard. At least I could take the smuggler's bat, the final weapon, off his corpse and stick it in the wall by the church. You'd think the door would open, but there's still more to do. I called World War II Zombies tedious on Reddit and someone foamed at the mouth, but this is a great example. I need to kill 20 regular zombies to charge up the dagger, 10 Sizzlers for the axe, and 10 pests for the bat. No biggie, right? But the kicker is you have to do it in that order. So I couldn't even take advantage of the pest round on round 10. I opted to use the bat because it has a useful special attack where a beam of Geistcraft shoots ahead and kills zombies in a short line. The 20 regular zombies were easy, easy, but then I had to run around like an idiot while Straub turned zombies into sizzlers. Did I mention this is a one at a time process? Finally, on round 14, I killed the remaining pests I needed to open the hidden courtyard. I used my full Wonderbus ammo to start charging the anchor because after a previous fail, I knew one full Wonderbus wouldn't do it. I accidentally hit a zombie with the Wonderbus and almost restarted, but decided to tough it out anyway. Thankfully, round 15 was a pest round, so I could get a max ammo and finish charging the anchor. After fully charging the anchor, I was stuck in the courtyard. Here's how you can escape. There are 4 walls and each wall has 4 statues, minus one of the walls because the stairs are in the way. Every statue rotates and needs to face the center of the room. As always though, there's a catch. Every time a statue rotates, the statue it touches also rotate. I've put up a chart that I found in another video, credited of course, that tells you how each statue rotates. This is a fun puzzle to solve once you know how to do it, but it's incredibly annoying to do it with melee weapons. You have to hit every statue 16 times per rotation compared to whatever the hell it is by just shooting it. My controller even went to low battery, it took so long. I don't know what happened, but for some reason rounds 17 and 18 were extremely long, which gave me plenty of time to align the statues. The last step was to line up the ravens the right way. I love this one here. It reminds me of that meme with the little bird saying something and the big one yelling. After figuring that out, I grabbed the blade of Barbarossa. Thankfully, the achievement unlocked despite me shooting a zombie with the Wonderbus, meaning I probably could have moved these statues a lot faster. Real quick, I just want to address that I'm not going to be doing the tortured path in this video. I figured the video was already going long enough, so I'm going to do that in its own video. Time to get Thule for the summer with the Frozen Dawn and Blood Transfusion, one of 2 achievements that have a 0.01% completion. You have to go through the Thulean Transport, aka edgy grimdark blood elevator with every kind of zombie. After the marathon that was the Shadowed Throne, this ending is kind of anticlimactic. It's odd to me how the rarest achievements were blow some zombies up, shoot a saw at some zombies, then do most of the damn Easter egg and rip out your toenails before ending with dinner for 2. It starts with killing zombies on a pressure plate until the gates to Thule open. Ironically, a rare achievement itself because only a little over 1% of players have done it. Imagine if that's how the video ended. I entered the ice caves and was greeted by a group of zombies and Slender Man, the Corpse Eater, which is technically a type of sizzler. Hooray for more sizzlers! After disposing of these clowns and building up more points, I made my way into the passage, pushed a block, wandered around not knowing what I was doing, before going back to the spawn area. I took a romantic blood-soaked ride with a normal zombie, Marie quoting Han Solo,
I have a bad feeling about this.
before going into this psychedelic nightmare realm. Every time you use one of these transports, 2 Slendermen spawn and come after you. Using this to my advantage, I lured one into the transport. Unfortunately, this spawned even more corpse eaters, and true to their name, they dined on my flesh. Thankfully, I got the last laugh, or so I thought. When I lured the zombie out to the open and put him down, he exploded, one-shotting me. Why on God's green earth can this thing one-shot me with an explosion? Realizing I needed more protection, I bought the SVT-40. Luckily for me, the next round was a pest round, so after thinning these decaying abominations, I took a nice trip into Thulean hell with one of them. My question is, why do these zombies still look like German soldiers here in Thule? I get from a development perspective they're reusing assets, but shouldn't they all look like weird corpse eater type zombies, at least without exploding one-shots? This SVT is a beast and made quick work of corpse eaters that spawned, and now I only had to travel with 2 other kinds of zombies. That meant it was time to play the waiting game. It's kind of funny that you only have to open a third or even just a fourth of the map to get this achievement. Skipping ahead to round 8, this is the first round that a bomber zombie can spawn. So after shooting his little Total Recall friend in the head, I went for a romantic ride involving being torn apart and put back together. Lovely. It's like laying down on the couch and having your kids use you as a trampoline. You've heard me ramble on plenty, so let's do one final jump to round 11. This is the first round that a woosling spawns, the final kind of zombie I needed to take with me to fluorescent hell. I popped my shell shock and started the journey and unlocked the achievement, pausing because my wife had finished making chocolate covered peanut butter balls and I wasn't gonna miss out on those. Thank you so much for watching this video. If there's anything else you want to see me do a video on, go ahead and leave it in the comments, as long as it involves no compromising positions.